invited to make a speech or a keynote address. He had all the papers with him to speak. And then we are going to have a clue of what happened, a video clip of what happened right there. And then we are going to, the discussants today will look at it, compare it with what would happen. It could happen to any country, and must such be allowed. And then we are going to have the video clip before we go on. Please, let's have the video clip of that summit. Start from the introduction.
To present to you President Paul Biya, President of Cameroon. So he is making his way up here right now. So thank you.
Pourquoi je suis en vedette ici. C'est qui tous ces gens qui sont là? Pourquoi je n'ai pas demandé ça? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens importants là?
Les ministres vous ont le président Kagame a parlé, il est parti. Là, c'est le ministre, c'est vous qui parlez. Vous avez votre micro. Vous commencez. On vous a déjà introduit.
Non.
Le monsieur vous a introduit. Il y avait un monsieur de vous qui vous a introduit.
Je dois parler maintenant.
Vous restez assis, parlez assis. Vous pouvez parler assis, étant assis.
Ici?
Oui.
Pourquoi?
That is for Biya. He was unable. Comrade, I want to start with you. He was unable to even read the papers in his hand. Well, they want to associate that with his age, and also coupled with some, elements associated with old age. Yeah. And yet, he is a president of a country, and the country has not deemed it fit, to remove him from set. If this should happen to any other country, let's take Nigeria for instance, because we are Nigerians.
Yeah.
What will be your response?
Nobody wishes such, you understand, to themselves. Nobody wishes such to themselves. It's to be understood that within the international circle or the Community of Nations, the president carries the image of the country which he represents. Remember the other day I was saying something about how Yar'Adua nearly slumped at Togo, and I said if Yar'Adua had slumped at Togo, and yes, and a polemicist is to write a newspaper review or to write an article, you understand, to that effect, and decides to come up with a sensational headline or thing that says Nigeria slumps at Togo, you understand, it will spark up reactions, you understand. So this is not what any country should wish itself. But Biya has been present since 1982 or 84, yeah, in the early 80s in Cameroon. And unfortunately, he is preparing his son to take over when he is no more. And it happens in virtually many countries in Africa. Like I can't begin to tell you about Togo or Gabon, where you have Yadema and the rest of them. Now, the funny thing is that you go there to represent your country. You represent the symbol of your country, the authority of your country. You carry the image of your country when you are there, because this platform enables Africa, you understand, to reassess its relations with America in the area of trade, in the area of economy, in the area of security, in the area of all the multilateral corporations they have in common. Now he's gone there and could not even deliver his speech. it speaks to something that this man is what incapacitated, and he's in his 80s. He is in his 80s. Very soon he will hit 90. And then let me also remind you this, that few days before him, or I think immediately after, a video of the president of South Sudan, Salva Kiir, Mayardit, was also making the rounds on the internet. What happened? That one admitted on himself publicly during an anthem, and the world saw how the holy league just passed out from his containers. He just involuntarily, and then he's also an African president somewhere. Now in Africa, you have people like Teodoro Obiang Mbasago of Equatorial Guinea, who has been there since 1979. You understand? If you begin to talk about this thing and you see, does it happen in Nigeria? You may say it doesn't happen in Nigeria, but Nigeria has a tendency of doing that in different ways, not similar. Now, if you look at all the presidential aspirants, some of them have been said to have conditions, or to be living with conditions they will not make known to the public, and it's become issue of debate, of criticism, generating a lot of arguments back and forth. Medical disclosures don't happen here. They don't tell us their medical condition, but they want to rule us. Now, the other day I talked about myself not limiting performance on age. I still stand on that when we talk about Obi's remark or rhetoric. But I said yes, we should not discriminate people based on age. But if age becomes a challenge, it's a concern to us. You can't have a candidate who misspeaks at public forum. You understand? He goes to all these public fora and he misspeaks. Many candidates, in fact, some candidates in this current dispensation for 2023 are giving us such huge concerns that they misspeak at public fora, and then again they cannot process and then work with information intelligently as a leader, especially a leader of the largest black nation in the world, ought to do. Let me tell you, the work of the president has to do with what? Intelligence, briefing, reports. You understand? Information you may not live. In fact, you cannot handle all the information if you are not smart enough. So the implication for a nation is that such a nation has ended up embarrassing itself, not being able to air its view. Just imagine, we are not even talking about him ad-libbing. It's just about reading from a text, a prepared speech. You understand? He did not move his line. He did not fluff his line. He lost track of his environment, and he was overwhelmed. He lost track of his environment. He couldn't say anything. Now, in times past, similar things have actually happened. But the question is Africa learning anything from all these occurrences? Because when you have such leadership, it puts question mark on the institution of government and how the West perceives you. And then when you talk about cooperation, they are looking at you. You understand? They are also looking at the leadership of the country. Now see that this man is almost 40 years in seats. Paul Biya, he's been there since. I think the third or fourth president of Cameroon, he's been there since. And ever since then, no change, nothing. As we speak, what do government do in Africa is to change the constitution. If they get to become term limited, when they are term limited, they work on the constitution, they change the constitution. It happened in Ivory Coast under Babu. You understand? It happens everywhere. So in the case of Nigeria now, there are candidates whom we have seen appeared publicly but could not read the text, could not even make coherent speeches. And there are concerns about their what? Their medical status not being disclosed, whether they have incontinence. In fact, there are even allegations, existing ones, that some of them have things like Parkinson, incoherence, old age infirmities. They will not want to share with us, but they want to rule us because they feel 2023 represents their last chance or their last time to dance the music. And it's not just anything to them apart from either their turn or the turn of their region to do the presidency. And that is why Nigeria should also be careful, or the Nigerian voters or the electorate should be careful about this occurrence. I said the president of a country urinated in the public. It's not to be taken lightly. Then another president,
not just urinating on himself.
On himself. Then the other president was actually assisted to talk. See, there are forums or there are fora that do not require memoir or let me say head memoir. You understand? You must ad lib. If you go on a state visit, you are not expected to read things. So each country in Africa should begin to think deeply about how they elect and recruit leaders. Who goes to do what? It is our ability of the president to appeal to the West that will determine whether he will get their favor or not.
All right, Honorable, you saw the video clip you saw there, and the president was invited to make a speech, and even with the written, document in his hand, he was unable to do. He was rather asking the head, "Who are all these people there? What are they here for?" That means just like Comrade said, he has lost track of even the environment.
Yeah.
And the reason that brought him there, I'm sure he was well briefed before coming. But on getting there,
he just forgot.
He forgot everything. So place yourself as a Cameroonian, and then what would you do in situations like that?
Yeah, the thing is that I do not think that he was even aware he was going for such function. Yeah, I bet he was when we talk about cabals, it's not only in Nigerian system that they exist. You understand? They are everywhere, just like my brother said. They are everywhere in all the African countries. They are there. They are the ones calling the shots. I can bet you that the ones that wrote the speech for him are younger people.
Yes.
He recruited younger brains to write, who are very articulate and smart in reasoning, who are well abreast of the happenings, and they now wrote the script for him, the speech for him, believing that they have written and well edited, international standard speech, and gave to a misfit. He's a complete misfit. You understand? But the thing now is just like Comrade has rightly pointed out. It is a colossal disgrace to the country as a whole, and then to their individual superstars. Consider their footballers who are international superstars. You understand?
Even to Africa, mind you, we're talking about Africa.
Yes, but you can imagine the kind of jests, that their teammates and club mates will be making out of them. They'll make a fool of them. They say, look at your president. And these people are voiceless. Not that they cannot do anything, but the thing is that once you say something, they point the guns at you. That's the issue. They won't even mind coming to wipe your village. If you are still abroad there, you don't want to come home, they will now visit your people at home. So the thing is that is rather unfortunate, honestly. And talking about if we don't take care, if Nigerians do not take care, it will happen to us come 2023. And standing on the Freedom of Information Act, I think I should be the Act gives me the authority to mention names, to put Nigerians are right. I don't have to start ask somebody to vote right, or vote wisely. I should let you know what that wise decision should be. We have seen it. It's out there in the public domain. Yeah. But we all know that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has refused to disclose his state of health. Even Atiku has refused to disclose his state of health. There was Atiku, I remember, in one of the interviews, he said that the what he's suffering from his health condition is not meant to be disclosed to Nigerians. And yet, assuming he gets elected, he will be taking care of this health that he will not disclose to Nigerians with our Commonwealth. And we that will be paying his hospital bill should not be entitled to know what the person we are paying his hospital bill is suffering from. You understand? So the thing is, now I'm talking about Ashwaj, who have seen him misfired publicly every now and then. You understand? And he's always been supported.
Yes,
This one is
I wouldn't want us to mention names.
no, but I'm taking living TV is not taking responsibility of what I am an adult. I'm taking responsibility of what I'm saying. You understand? I am a politician, so I should be able to be regardless of party. Look, standing on my voting right. You understand? On my right as a voter, I have assessed these individuals. I'm not telling anybody who to vote for, but I'm telling you those that I will not vote for. You understand? All of them are canvassing for my vote. All the presidential aspirants, they are canvassing for my vote. You understand? So now I'm telling you that this person or these people that are canvassing for my vote, this A, B, C, I need to know the state of your health condition. There are so many things I need to know about you.
Who you're voting for.
Who I'm voting for. Because look at they are coming for me to hire them.
Yes.
You understand? So I should be able to I should be able to ask you some questions. So if I ask you some questions, you decide to blanket those the answers. Now it leaves me with no.
You see, let us even bring it closer to the bigger perspective our audience will understand. In Nigeria, the active year is 18 to 65. In some cases, 18 to 60. You understand? Some of the persons aspiring to rule Nigeria are no longer in their active years. It's as clear as day. It means that in fact, on the conventional level, no firm will take them, except where they have shown expertise, where they have shown the know-how, and they could become consultants.
Yes.
But now, in this case, if you're looking at their age, I am not against age. It's not me about ageism, but I'm being plain here. I want to be plain spoken.
Yeah, but
now see, the implication is that some of them have actually, they feel, like I said before, that beyond 2023, they can no longer do this. You can't, you see, you can't teach nature.
They want to be given state
they
burial.
in their last fight, their last energy. In fact, in fact, the most they can do to make sure that they get there.
Yeah, and die as a president, as a president.
Have we experienced this before? We've even experienced this with a younger person. When President Omar Musa Yar'Adua, of the blessed memory, was aspiring under the PDP in 2007, concerns flew.
Yes.
Left, right, center.
Yes.
Parties helped.
Yes.
The president,
Even though he was a younger person.
Umaru, the then president, who wasn't to make Umaru, they say you are dead. The man talked. Now listen, within 2-3 years, we have not even known, as we said here, how the budget of 2010 was signed. But we know it was signed. The president was incapacitated at that time. People were calling for his resignation. Some cabal believed it was a seat title. In fact, let me mention his name, Michael Cassie Andwata, the Attorney General of the Federation, just like you have current Attorney General Malami, said it was Yar'Adua's right to rule even from sickbed in Saudi Arabia. The president of this country was Mongodin under the cover of darkness. You remember that time? Yes. And let me also say this, that for a president to come in, a president who went out in broad daylight, for him to come in, there was power outage at the Nandeskiwe airport. Entire airport.
He was already dead then.
So now listen, the implication was that Yar'Adua nearly slumped, like I said, at Togo. He nearly fell down, had not his ADC intervened kindly to save this nation from embarrassment. And it was during an ECOWAS
meeting
platform. You understand? During an ECOWAS meeting, summit, that this would have happened. Just like we saw the one of President of Cameroon. And the world is watching. The world has transitioned from maybe the time they can conceal some of these things. The world is watching. So Nigeria should be careful the choice they make. Because some persons, it appears, want to hijack leadership in the name of other persons who may not even be articulate.
Yeah, but
for the next 4-5 years.
Another I want us to look at it. You see, I don't think that all these things are happening without the collaboration of some foreign powers. You understand? Remember all these colonial masters, when they find somebody that they are very much friendly with in government, and they are the moment you want to a change, they will not tell them, look, if this person comes in, he's not going to, most likely not going to continue with the deal we are having with you. They will say, instead, remain there. Whatever change you have to do, we will support you. And once they are getting such support from outside, it will continue.
Even the USA, Africa, something we're talking about,
yes,
is a way the US wants to see remain irrelevant.
Yeah, you know, in Africa, you know, they are contesting Africa now with China,
and including
Russia. So this
Russia today has a military group known as Wagner.
Yeah.
Working in trouble spots in Africa.
Yes.
You understand? But the implication is that when these persons come, they also hack your system in most cases.
That's
and get information about your leaders, about people around you, than you may even know.
It is as well.
It's just to me, Africa has not even been able to build buffer.
Okay, let us still look at because somebody said here that he came up with it, say something. He said something when he was ushered up there. What he said was, "Wow, so I've become a celebrity. Who are these people here? Who are these people here, and why? I didn't ask for this. Are there important personalities amongst them?" That's what he was asking the head.
And that was the interpretation.
Yes, because he was speaking in French.
Yes.
You know. So that's the interpretation of what he was, asking the president. The head said, "This paper is for you to present. For you to present to these people. They are waiting to hear from you."
You see, moderator, this points to something that in most cases, some of these persons who stumble on words and then begin to fumble or fluff and muffle, and muff their lines, do not even have time to read.
They didn't even prepare. They were not prepared. It was not given to them in advance.
They started hearing transformation.
And transmission.
And now listen, you see, there is something about it. And let me also say it. I also own it. It's my own view. Tinubu, among all the contestants currently now, Tinubu has done this more than any other person. Misspeaking. You understand?
Even when they have asked him to please stick to the scripts that you're giving, don't go outside the scripts.
Now, it is called a prepared speech. It means it has been prepared and you have to go through it.
Yeah.
A reasonable president like Obama and the rest of them, we are vetting their own speeches.
Yes.
In most cases, they
speak without speech. Yes.
Extempo.
Yes.
Now, when will Nigeria think it wise to have leaders of such acumen? You understand? Let's forget about tribalism. Let's leave religion. See, where Nigeria is today, we cannot continue to be this way in the next 4 years. Fear today is about 300 and something naira. Fear is over 300 naira today.
400 in some areas.
In some cases, 370 naira in some cases. Now, returning from Umuahia today is almost 1,000 naira. So you ask yourself, people whose businesses and their workplaces are in Umuahia, how will they survive?
So imagine
and the nothing has ever skyrocketed that easily came
down in Nigeria.
Inflation continues to grow. You're talking about food inflation. You're not talking about other kinds of inflation.
No, the next thing they will tell you is that Nigerians will get used to it. And we'll still get used to it. Because when it skyrockets, it will never come down. And they are enjoying it. They prefer it that way. And
I was touched during the Christmas festivity or the season. I saw people, over 200, 300, 500 of them, at the house of one man. One politician somewhere in the West.
No, somebody videoed this.
Yes, they had all come. I had to beg for arms, and I felt for this country.
Yeah, the thing is, sometimes let us also call a spade a spade. Something that is out there in the public domain. Yeah. So there's no need trying to quote it. It was Tinubu's house, Tinubu's premises. So the maker of the video mentioned the name of the place, the politician they went to his house. He saw them, in front of his house. So the thing is, they prefer keeping Nigerians in perpetual poverty, so that they continue to enjoy our Commonwealth. You understand? Yes. That's just the thing. So it's a strategy. You know, I can also bet you that this thing
of poverty.
Yeah, this thing that is happening now, including the policies of the, you know, let me digress, including the policies of the 20,000 naira withdrawal policy, limits and this of the central bank. All these things, they're just trying to, you know, to squeeze the poor dry. You understand? Bring the poor to subjection. When they subdue you, they get you subjected so that you cannot do anything, you know, except and to obey. Just to be obedient. So whatever thing they want, they just tell you this is what we want, and that's what we do for them. So, but the thing is that thank God that the present generation of Nigerians are getting wiser. You know, they know what to do with their PVC. They know what to do with it. It's just about 50-something days away from now, and we'll judiciously and religiously make use of our PVC.
All right, finally, before we go on break, and we go on a very short break, I'm talking about Paul Biya of Cameroon. You've said one or two things that I would liken it to maybe the situation any country can find himself, including Nigeria here. But talking about this, how can we get out of this mess?
It's simple.
Because it is a big mess to any nation.
It's simple.
At a point, even had to ask. He started talking about construction of companies when they said, "This people are waiting for you
to
Please
deliver
speech.
To deliver for your country.
Deliver this speech for your country. They are all waiting." He said, "Are they waiting for me?" And you said they are all waiting. So there is no other person to do the construction work.
And you begin to ask yourself, who oversees this thing? And this is why I'm sorry to say it. Military coup will always resurface in Africa. When the Kake boys begin to look at some of these things and they get overwhelmed, and they get seriously overwhelmed with this, they now begin to interfere in politics.
No, but the thing
what is happening in Mali is a shame.
They make the military boys very, very comfortable financially these days. So that they don't think of
But then there are always a section. There is always a section.
Yes, those who are considering the nation, the country first.
It's not even good for Africa, as you speak. But the whole thing is this. You said, how can we get rid of this system? What is the AU doing? What is ECOWAS doing at the sub-regional level? Then what are these nations doing to build institutions, long-lasting institutions? See, Barack Obama said something. He said, the problem with Africa is that we have stronger men than institutions.
Yes.
That is why a president can sack a sitting chief justice of the federation, a person who is heading a co-equal arm of government as the executive. That is why a president can wake up, you understand? And then the presidency or the attorney general can interpret court judgment to his whims and caprices. That is why in Africa, leaders can expel opposition, they can even kill them and nothing happens. You see, until we begin to do necessary things, begin to have people-oriented and people-centered constitution. It's not a constitution that was not signed by anybody. Look at America's constitution. As far back as 1776, there were signatories, there were undersigned to it. People came together and said, we. In our own case, we are just using an abstract we. There was no we anywhere. The constitution in Nigeria as we have it today is not a making of the people. Justice Nikitobi of blessed memory came together, formed what they call debate committee. There was no draft committee, no constituent assembly. See, a constitution has to be debated. You understand? Then a draft will come. And that's what we have. Constituent assembly, they will debate and a draft will come. Then you begin to work on the draft. You collect and aggregate people's opinions. You look for plethora of memoranda wherever they are coming from. You now begin to see what people want. But unfortunately for us, something we used in 1979, 20 years during that time, 1999, was actually brought out, dusted off. Then little insertions were made here and there, and we called it constitution. That is one of the problems we are having. And again, Africans must begin to take seriously the issue of politics. Some of the people like Paul Biya, I have mentioned them here. Teodoro Oban Mbasago of Equatorial Guinea since 1979. Even before Paul Biya. What is he doing? You remember the case of Jaja Yame? Jaja Yame this country in West Africa, Banjul is the capital. Gambia. Okay. Yes, the Yame created a serious problem here. So, until Africans begin to take seriously the issue of politics and begin to be active, You understand? And insist on change.
All right, viewers, we're going to go on a very, very short break. And then I think, like the question, how are we going to do it? One of the major problems is just what you've mentioned, and also what Honorable said, because these are so-called, we are thinking that the colonial masters are gone, but they are still there. They are still there.
Yes,
and also
extent, yes.
working.
To a very large extent, they are still there. They are still there.
So we'll go on a very short break, and when we come back, issues of the moment will continue. Stay tuned and keep watching and don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me,
Have you heard that Living Television, the latest satellite station on Satview channel, is received all over Nigeria and Africa? You can watch Living Television on every free-to-air HD decoder, including Strong HD and CSAT HD. Why keep paying for monthly subscriptions when you can have fun for free? With Living Television, you can watch lots of wrestling, football, documentaries, and Nigerian films, including discussions and debates on current Nigeria issues. Watch free live matches on La Liga Spain cum Serie A, Italy cum Bundesliga, German League 1, and French matches on over 80 premium channels. Wow! You can also sponsor your programs such as live church services and crusades, political rallies, burial and wedding ceremonies, promotional interviews, announcements, advertisements, documentaries, and commercials. We are situated at number 1 Judges Street off Ikorebane Road, Aba, Abia State. For further enquiries, call 0805 367 3900. Signed, Management.
allow me,
And so you can keep on watching Living TV. I can say in pidgin English, Living TV, Unade Kampe.
Living TV, bringing the word first to you. First.
Alright, I'm glad you're still there watching Living TV. We're back. Still issues of the moment. And then we've talked about Biya, we've compared it with other countries, especially Nigeria. And nobody will want to pray to have an unfunctional president or governor in anywhere. It is not done. Even a local government chairman or councillor, you will always want to elect those who are eligible and those who can not just represent you, but can stand in for you at any time and anywhere. That is why Obasanjo will say, if we miss 2023, we are doomed. All right, having said that, let us look at this. We're just going to look at 2 more things before we leave for the day. The 5 aggrieved PDP governors have met with APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu in London, the United Kingdom, on Tuesday. PDP has alleged that the 5 governors in London, they went on vacation not necessarily to see Tinubu. That if anything happens and they discover that they actually went to see Tinubu, that they've threatened that they will deal with them, and then also if they discover that they are on anti-party activities, threaten that they have the capacity to discipline them. Yeah. Now, it is obvious that this meeting, they actually went to meet with Tinubu, and these are PDP governors with other top politicians, but the 5 of them are the one that are standing out in this meeting. Let me start with you, comrade. Yes. What do you think? Is there anything outside either you support me or I support you?
There's nothing outside that. Thank you very much for putting those words in my mouth. There is nothing outside political permutation we are seeing to either get them to win their support over and then do what? Bring about a misfortune to the camp of APC, to the camp of PDP. But the PDP must also be strategic and resolute. It calls for being, in fact, being action-oriented, no longer backing. Why will Governor Wike seal PDP presidential campaign office in the United States? Okay. Why will the campaign office be sealed under his watch? Who gave the instruction? Did it come from Abuja or from where? That's the question. So there are anti-party activities on the part of these ones. And I have said before here that the people should allow these ones to be, that these ones, as far as I'm concerned, they are gone. Because the matters they are chasing, we've seen where Atiku is also hinging his own claim. We've also seen where Wike is also hinging his claim. It simply means that the Wike and Atiku are parallel. They cannot meet at any point. They cannot intersect. There is no intersection. So let the PDP be bold enough. Let it go about its campaign without trying to look at this one. See, I am not saying that the windows of negotiations are closed. But what I'm saying is that from the look of things, everything these persons have done, some of them constitute anti-party activities. You understand? Now, let me also say it this way. We've been hearing of political meetings, and these governors are traveling outside the shores of these 5 governors, including our own governor here. They are always traveling outside the shores of this country to hold political meetings. These are political meetings, and there they strike deals, they reach agreements, compromise. You understand? If I emerge, or if you deliver your state for me, I will do this for you if I emerge, or that for you. This is what is in the negotiation. And now PDP should not actually sit back and what happens. So to me, I think there is what you call party supremacy. It's a doctrine in politics. The doctrine of the supremacy of the party. Party, yes, is supreme. You understand? Over and above everybody, except the president, who is the leader of the nation. You understand? Even the president comes to the party, he's also subjected, or he's also bound by party rules. You understand? You don't go extra to what the law of the party says. So I think PDP should take seriously their own laws. You know, now begin to put the house in order. As far as I'm concerned, these governors, they are gone. You understand? They are meeting with, imagine Wike saying he will pronounce the person he's supporting by January. Yeah. You understand? So it means he's not supporting PDP's candidates. That's just the thing. Because up to now, he's not supposed to be saying, I will tell you who I'm supporting when you are still a PDP member. It simply means he's not supporting Atiku Abubakar. Whose emergency we know? We know the politics, the modernization of the presidency. I choose to call it that. You understand? Where his brother stepped down for him, and then Wike got betrayed after doing everything for the party. So I think the best thing is for PDP to believe that it can do everything and begin to see how it can actually do everything without these governors. That's the main thing for them.
All right, Honorable, you had it, and all of them are there. Luckily, you're a member of the PDP, and then for them to meet with the presidential candidate of APC, and these 5 governors, it's not as if they are mixed. The governor of Ebonyi, Dave Omai, opted the other time to join them and make it G6. But
and he's from APC.
And he's from APC. But they did not. I'm not sure they accepted him. And then meeting
was his request, was his proposal formal?
It was, because it was open. It was on air. He just said it on air. So now meeting from a different party, and then the PDP is now threatening. So what do you think is the outcome of that meeting? Is there any other thing they've gone there to talk about?
I think I see the 5 PDP governors as the G5, as they're called, or the integrity group. That's the larger group now, makes the integrity group. I don't see them supporting Bola Tinubu. That's the first thing. Yes, because it will so make them unpopular. You understand? People seems to be hailing, and celebrating Wike now. But if the moment he comes out, with the way Nigeria electorates, the way they are charged, when they are focused, ever tries to come out to say supporting Tinubu, right from there in his own state, he will lose popularity. I can assure you that. So now what they are, the thing is that what they are doing is like is a life in a movie. That's what they're playing for to the APC. Bola Tinubu should know that they will never support him. You understand? If you had listened to the recent one of the Wike's outings, his most recent outing, the one where he said that in January he will tell them Nigerians who he is supporting, and that he will move around with the person, campaigning. You have to move with somebody that is mobile. Tinubu cannot be said to be that mobile. You understand? So now that's one.
It depends on are you talking about natural mobility?
Well,
you are talking about mechanical mobility.
Well, you can, if you like, you use your teeth to count your tongue. Then you see this guy, and he also said in that video, on that video, he said, look, even these people that are saying that it is their turn and it's their turn and all that and my turn and all that, that at the end of the day, he will tell them, those who said that PDP was corrupt and they have come to fight corruption, and now they are there and the corruption is growing. You understand? So now that it is time, by January, he will tell Nigerians who he supported. So he has invariably giving Nigerians clue of where he is going. So he still, when he said that his doors are open for negotiation, he did not narrow it down to PDP presidential candidate. So negotiation is negotiation. So it's like they are the beautiful bride. So anybody can come and toast to them up. So, but the thing is that they are meeting with Tinubu. Don't be surprised that between now and January, or even the time between now and when they will come back, when they will return to Nigeria, they will still meet with another person, probably in France or Nigeria. So any presidential candidate, their door is open for any presidential candidate to come and meet them. So, but PDP should consider them lost sheep. You understand? You don't have grip over them. They have their body language, even their utterances have said it long ago. Don't mind with this autumn and the diplomatic statements he made. He said that he said that if not that he's a PDP person, that he would have been going about campaigning, following Obi about, you understand, and campaigning for him. And the people
was there even at this festival.
No, he repeated it again on Christmas Day. Yeah. Then their Oga, which is Wike, is saying that he will be moving around. He will, after telling Nigerians who to support, he will start moving around. With this one, he said that if not that I was in PDP, I would have been moving around with you.
There is an unconfirmed report that says they are still torn apart. In fact, they are torn between Tinubu and Obi. That this G5, they are still contemplating. That the likes of one other person are rooting for Obi, whereas the governor of Rivers State seemed to be, and the rest seem to be tilting towards Tinubu, but nothing is cast in the stone yet.
All right, sorry, gentlemen, because of our time, let us look at the Labour Party has condemned the statement credited to the presidential candidate of PDP, Atiku Abubakar, where he said that he is a stepping stone to the Igbo presidency. Yes. And then saying that the Igbos, and then even one of the chieftains, the acting BOT chairman of PDP, Senator Adolfo Swaba, also said that in Omaya 2 days ago, that Igbos should cool down when immediately after Atiku's tenure, that Atiku will hand over to the Igbos. And then the Labour Party today, they are saying that it is an insult.
Yes.
And a lot of Igbos are equally saying that, including Ohanese.
Yes. You remember, there's also people have gone to on X one. This internet. Internet is always there forever. You understand? It's like people who have gone to the internet and dug out a video, that's trended in 2015 when Ato Eze also said the similar thing, that Buhari was going to hand over, that the Igbos should take it easy by 2015, by 2023, that the present incumbent president will be handing over to the Igbo. So now they are not, when they make this kind of statements, that means they are not even putting the electorate in the picture. You are handing over. That means the vote won't count.
You are the determinant.
Yeah, that is invariably, that's what they are telling us, that our votes won't count. That you are the determinant. So whether you vote or not, it is who I want to hand over to. That I will hand over to.
You see, that is a very reckless statement.
That's what it is.
I think he should be ashamed of himself. I am disappointed. Yes, he should be ashamed of himself to be saying that. You see, the Igbo he is talking about, or he's talking to, are political adults in Nigeria. He's not talking to maybe a minority.
And he's talking to critical stakeholders. And this is a race.
You live with a political candidate.
Hey, it's an insult.
People he's talking to have produced sons and daughters that have contributed meaningfully to the growth and progress of this country, more than he has ever done, and more than he can ever do. It's a very huge insult. In fact, it's slap. And I don't know why some Igbo persons are still looking for him.
I don't know. People like Adolfo.
It's a big insult, and that one is also from this state. Now it's a huge insult, and I will explain why. Do you know what that means? That means Atiku will vacate the constitution of Nigeria by 2031. That is if he does do them. If he does a two-term presidency.
Yes.
That means he will be vacating the constitution of Nigeria to single-handedly. We are not talking about this just like military government where Babangida will just technically hand over to Abacha in the name of
No, but assist you, remember, this is the same person, the same man that has an agreement with Wike, who did not keep to the agreement that if I become a presidential candidate or the presidential candidate comes from the north, then the national chairman cannot also come from down. The national chairman of the PDP will now come to the south. He did not keep to that agreement. So why would you now believe it? Would be stupid for anybody to even accept what he's saying? Assuming it was not an insult.
Atiku has never been. He has been. The Bible will say unstable as water. Atiku has been very unstable in the Nigerian political waters. And I will explain. When he left PDP, nobody would have thought, with the kind of tirades, with the kind of ad hominem he churned out, nobody would have thought that Atiku would be today, in fact, would be the PDP standing there 2 times and consecutively. He said a lot of things, called PDP names, in fact, danced to the Jamboree and the rest of them. Now he is the same person saying he's come back to PDP to better the party. And I have this to say, you see, no ethnic nationality in Nigeria should be taken for granted. Whether Idoma, Igala. Nobody should fool anybody with the presidency.
That's true.
Now, if Atiku wanted to hand over the presidency to the Igbo, or wants to hand over, he shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yes.
He should have been a voice.
Yes.
Reminding Wike, when Wike was actually derailing, that it is the turn of the East.
The southeast.
It is the turn of the Southeast.
Yes, he should have said it and stood by it.
So, telling this is just what politicians.
He didn't stand by it.
Hunting for vote, you understand? Hunting for vote from a particular, and that is also sectionalism on his part. He's hunting for vote.
That's what it is.
He's also hunting for vote from a particular section, telling them he will favor them, using beautiful, sweet political romance to tell them he will favor them, he will do this for them. And that is not the kind of narrative we need in Nigeria again. We need somebody who can make this country work, who can take us out from debt. The other day we were discussing on vulnerability. Who can say Nigeria is vulnerable? And someone was asking, I said, yes. When you owe debt you cannot pay, the debts that are conditioned by certain circumstances beyond your control, you are vulnerable to the creditor. When you cannot man your border, you cannot secure your country. Even the seat of power, FCT, came under threat.
Yes.
You are vulnerable. You understand? When you have 133 million persons lumped into poverty, you are vulnerable. When you have over 20 million out of school children, you are vulnerable. When you have the 3% unemployment rate, you are vulnerable. Nigeria is vulnerable, and we need somebody who can take us out of this dungeon. Not somebody who can begin to tell us or talk us with a tribe or religion.
And when you talk about
all right, let's take this before we go. Though the one-time Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, even said it that any presidential candidate should stand to tell Nigerians the truth, that there is no president that can refix what this present administration, the decay they've caused this country. No president can fix it in 4 years, so they should be able to tell us the truth. Now, before we go, let us just look at this. The federal government has been announcing a salary increment and also to meet up with this economic front and hardship that every person is facing, both this inflation rate and so on. And then talking about salary increment, as they are proposing, very soon they are going to come up with an announcement. The 13 naira.
30,000 naira.
Yes, minimum wage. A lot of states have not implemented it. I think including where we are.
We talked about it already.
Yes, we've talked about it. And then talking about increment, how do you think it's going to be? Let me start with you, comrade.
You see, if you look at if you want to talk about increment, you use inflation, you use unemployment. You understand? You use all these indices to build a template for the would-be salary, so-called. We were here agreed that 30,000 naira, as at then, is now 19,350 naira. That was what economists told us, experts told us. You understand? From World Bank and the rest of them. From the World Bank.
Yes, yes.
They said the 30,000 we are even talking about as at 2018,
2019. Yes.
Simply round off to, or means, or is now
not up to 20,000.
It's up to 20,000 naira now. I'm talking about cash now. Now, the implication is that when you have to reconstruct salary, or to revisit salary, or to review them, what you normally do is to look at inflation and look at the even cost of living, transportation, and the rest of them. You look at unemployment. You now look at your population. How many people are unemployed? How many people are dependent? We have dependent population. You don't just. The problem with Nigeria is that we don't plan effectively. We just come out and make announcement. That was why the 30,000 naira minimum wage died, almost died, because there were no templates, no plans. The government just come out frivolously, make a blanket statement that you are increasing salary. What is the work of the Revenue Mobilization and Allocation and Fiscal Commission? You understand? These are the things you have to look at. Go back to your drawing board. Talk of what is possible. See, I believe what Obia's President said. Where this administration has put Nigeria, it will take more than 8 years of a serious administration to bring us out. I'm telling you that. I always say it is easier to tear down, but harder to build. That's the fact. Where we are today. Do you know how long it's going to take us to migrate from 33% unemployment rate? See, 24 million Nigerians live outside. They are homeless. They are not sheltered. 24 million, more than anywhere in the world. About 40 million or so are, in fact, don't have access to toilets. They are into open defecation more than any country in the world. Infant mortality is high. Unemployment is here. Inflation today as I speak to you, going from Akara to Alaye is 1,200 naira. 1,200 naira today. So this is not what one administration can come.
That's a very close distance.
That is if we are lucky to get administration that is being serious, that has Nigeria in its mind, not ones where you have jackals and vultures trying to do what? Feed off the carcass of the nation. Because it's the carcasses. Only thing right now is just carcass. So it is only an administration that is set to work. In fact, that is set out to work, that has Nigeria in mind, that can deliver this country. And that is why we must be constructive in our discourse, in our talk, and in everything we do.
All right, Honorable, talking about this, and honestly, I think that was one of the things that caused a serious fracas between some workers in Uganda with Idi Amin.
Yeah.
And somebody said that Uganda money is worthless.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that about Naira. But talking about this increment, I think the federal government, no matter the ministry, true ministry that thing is coming from, I think they are thinking inwards because people are suffering.
We are not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad.
I understand. There are states that have not implemented the minimum wage, and even the little they are supposed to receive, they are not paid. A lot of organizations, parastatals, and ministries went home without salary as we speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, you see, when the Labour was agitating for 30,000 naira minimum wage, they became suspects. In my own view, I thought that they were either conniving with the federal government to further impoverish Nigerians. I said it then that they were not having Nigerians at heart, because the Nigerian Labour Congress has the numerical strength and the platform to twist the federal government, to ask them to introduce fiscal policies, as monetary policies that will strengthen the naira. You understand? strengthen the naira. If they had given the federal government, even though I'm not an economist, the common knowledge of economy. If they had mandated the federal government, say we are giving you 6 months to improve the value of the naira. You understand? To say bring it to about, I think then it was about 200 something naira to $1. To bring it to about 50 naira to $1, then maybe they will start negotiating from there. And at a point, it might come down to about 70. If you were able to bring it to 70 naira to $1, then pay a worker 8,000 naira. He will be comfortable. He can take care of his family with 8,000 naira. Now you say that you needed 30,000 naira. They increased your this in 30,000 naira and weakened the naira. You understand? Even it will get to a point where we begin to ask for 500,000 naira minimum wage in this country, and inflation will continue to and inflation will continue to rise. You understand? So the best thing they should have done would have been, federal government, we want you to introduce fiscal policies that will strengthen our currency. And then, even if you pay anybody less to 7,000, 10,000 naira, the person can still make a living out of it. Now, another one, going to the question you just asked. You see, I think this federal government, I am suspecting that what the scene that played out at the U.S. African Summit with Paul Biya is in different ways playing, probably in a very soft way, playing out here in Nigeria. There are people you could tell that in Ghana, in Cameroon, the aides and the people that wrote the written speech, yes, they are in charge. Some other persons are in charge. You understand? They only bring something to Oga, sign, and the person will sign. You understand? I'm suspecting something like otherwise. You don't tell me that this person will be in charge and he knows that his time is fast running out and he's talking about increasing salaries. So if you're increasing salaries or talking about a salary increment, you're trying to compound the problem for the incoming administration. You understand? You have already borrowed so much that we are now just like Bishop Hassan Kuka said, that we are now a vulnerable nation. Then you also want to increase the suffering again. Even if you increase it to 150,000 naira, where are you going to get money to pay? Banks can lend you money to boost up your company if you are into production, but they will hardly lend you money to pay salaries when you are not productive.
Okay, comrade. Yeah. Talking about this, all of us were in this country when the national budget was about millions of naira, millions to billions, now trillions, and nothing has changed. And talking about this salary increment, remember, as at the time they talked about this 30,000 minimum wage, as at the time 30,000 naira, our senators or the members of the National Assembly were going home with millions of naira in a month. Now, if you are talking about this, don't you think that most of this problem is also caused by us, the Nigerians, the leaders of this country? You see, and if they should bring all the money they are depositing overseas back into the system, don't you think that things will be better?
You see, I was wanting to say that if at all the president or whoever or the federal government is interested in salary review, the best thing that will save this country is reviewing downwards salaries of politically exposed persons. Exactly. The senators and the rest of them. Why would we have the most funded legislature in Africa and still have the most grossly underfunded civil service in the same continent? Why would we have that? Why would we have, for crying out loud, disparity in the pay in terms of, in other countries, in other countries, people like pilots, medical doctors who do risky jobs earn more than the president. I'm telling you that for free. In other countries, people, I'm not talking about net salary. Just forget about the net salary, you may not even be up to $1 million. But when you include other things, yes, that's allowances. Yeah, other allowances. Now see, in a country where human life has premium placed on it, people who fly on they take risk. They receive more because somebody may cover. Do you know the? In fact, in Nigeria, we overpay legislators for going there in most cases to sleep and contribute next to nothing. If we want to be visionaries, we must begin with telling ourselves the truth that we cannot run the. See how much do we spend in 2022 budget for National Assembly? 134 billion naira. The 2023 proposed budget is also asking to spend 169 billion naira for these persons, for 369 persons, including other para-legislative affairs. Now, when you begin to articulate the budget of 2024, we will be going towards 200 billion naira.
Okay, yeah.
So the inflation is happening. We are busy building buffer around few persons, then creating hunger for the. So that is where we should be.
Can I come?
And again, I don't even think
we are running short of time.
I want to say something here, concerning the legislators, and I just last week, the judge, one court, I think that was, I think one of the appeal courts, ruled that said that it was immorally wrong, for political office holders to be paid severance gratuity after
severance package.
Severance package after their tenure. See, and the judge, I'm not sure that most Nigerians are aware of this. The judges, the way it's structured now, if you are retired, you continue to take your complete pay package until you are dead. That is the structure now. And it is the same people that structured this severance package. You understand? Which is
even have hardship allowance. Hardship allowance for the president and the vice.
So
why hardship allowance?
No. So now, when you now look, the judges have refused to talk about their own because people don't want to talk about the judges and the civil. Okay, imagine we are an accountant general stole billions of naira, 80 billion. No, 100 and something, 109, and he said that it's 109 billion. He said that is
on further investigation.
No, 9 and now he's returning only 30 billion. So what happened to the other is 79 billion? You understand? And yet this person is not a legislator. Now you see, sometimes, granted that some of them go there to sleep, but some of them go there to do their job. You understand? So I also agree that some of these allowances should be cut down. But I also want to tell you, when the civil servant maintains his work schedule 8 in the morning to about 4, sometimes these legislators stay up late in the night, even up to 2 a.m., doing some other meetings on how to move the country forward or how to move their states forward. So this person, you will not be there. So they do extra work. So these things, we also have to look at some countries.
In some countries, legislature just requires
every country has got its peculiarities. Let me just in 1 second. Let me just round it. You see, when you look at all these things, if you want to cut these things down, it is possible. I agree with you that you cut it down, but at the end of the day, you also have to consider the bane of this country is not even the legislators. It is the head of service and the head of parastatals.
In fact, it is all involving because
you understand
both the legislators
and the cabinet secretaries.
I know you are talking as a legislator.
I've been in the system, so I know.
We don't have such money to pay them like that. We don't have such money.
Yes, but others are dying of hunger.
If I tell you what permanent secretaries do, you pity for this country. Permanent secretaries. Yes, they ride rickety vehicles, but they have properties in choice areas, and their children are all overseas.
We know that overseas. We know that they are all involved.
We are saying we are telling minimum wage. The least person in the civil service cadre, what should he go home with?
That is what we're talking about. That's it.
I'm not even talking about, but then I am saying if we cannot pay 30,000 naira to the least person in the civil service, we have no business paying millions of naira to the legislator.
No, let us see.
All right, we are going to continue tomorrow with Nigeria Today. That is where we're going to draw the curtain for now, and I'm sure you enjoyed today's edition of Issues of the Moment. From my far left is Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachin. Comrade, we're happy having you here.
I'm happy.
All right, and Honorable Emeka Edru, popularly known and called or referred to as Nze Nwosu. We are happy having you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Anytime.
All right, this is the much we are going to take for today. Keep watching Living TV. Remember, tomorrow we'll be coming back with another thunderous issues on Nigeria Today. Keep watching.